Hi, this is Tim with Photofied. Today we're going to answer some of your questions on the past few videos that came through. Craig Volpe asks, with this pertaining to this little flash, how do you attach light modifiers to it? It's another area where it's a little bit of a pain, but see this right here? That little piece is a umbrella hole. I don't know what you call it. Stick the softbox on, stick the little rail through there. There is no pincher thing to actually attach it. It does have a slight little metal lip in there to help grab it. It does a decent job. If you're holding it like this, light modifier in, it does just fine. If you have it like this, light modifier on top, it usually goes down to the bottom, but it still works just fine. So that is how to mount this thing actually to a light modifier. I haven't found much problem with it. It's pretty cheap, but it gets the job done. This next question came from Team Tan, which I already answered in the comments. This is pertaining to the focal reducer that you're looking through right now on that camera. And he asked, do I notice a notice of loss in quality because of the extra glass in the adapter? I personally do not. I think it still looks awesome. I haven't done like focus charts and super pixel peeped it up. Pixel peeped it? That's a phrase. But I think it does a great job, especially that I'm primarily shooting video. I'm shooting through my A6300 now. By the way, BTW, I bought an A6300, which I will be talking about later. The focal reducer, I think, does a great job, and I haven't noticed any loss in quality. Tony Castillo basically asked, as pertaining to my April update video, will I be releasing basically a video of how I did my product photos? Possibly eventually. That could definitely be one thing we do, maybe during the winter when stuff is slower. Essentially just shooting a lot of flash really close, so the fall off is very extreme, and then I was able to have the object relatively black while what was actually lit had great fall off, so I was able to cut it out easily in GIMP. That's essentially how I did it. Then just layered them over, and we used a tripod, and we didn't move the beer bottles or whatever bottles we had, that we were able to build our shots around there. But Tony, most likely around the winter time, if I had to guess, is when I'll be able to do that. Gabriel Gomez asks, I'd like to know if you have a video where you show the equipment you use for stills and for videos. I personally am just getting started on photography in general, so it would be useful for a rookie like me to have a better idea of what I need. So, for me, obviously camera. Duh. A decently aperture lens. My first camera was a Canon T2i, and then I bought the Nifty 50, the 50mm 1.8. I had that lens for almost a year, and I shot 50,000 shots through that lens. Like, that was my one lens. That was all I had as far as lenses go. And then I bought some flashes. So I can't really answer your question, Gabriel, because you got to find out what type of photography you like. Because depending on which type of photography you like, there's all sorts of gear to go in that direction. So simple things, obviously camera, one or two decent lenses. Save it for nice lenses. I don't mind using manual focus even for photography, and then get stuff fairly cheap. I mean, this 85 1.4 cost me $350. And this thing is gorgeous. Get this and a wide angle lens. Done. But yeah, find out what you like. Do you like lighting? If you do, flashes or LEDs for continuous, Do you like only the natural light? Fine, then wider aperture lenses, a nice zoom lens. So yeah, for the basis, for just a super starter kit, let's just say just for once you have the camera and lens, because those are pretty much ubiquitous throughout all the different genres. What do I think you should get? How to get a 5-in-1 reflector, how to get a light stand, and how to get a flash. Okay, you can use the 5-in-1 reflector and the light stand and the flash to see if you like any sort of flash video or flash photography. You can use the reflector and the light stand to see if you like natural light stuff. And then, that's essentially what I'd get. Some sort of wireless triggering for your off-camera flash, or if you really want to be cheap, use optical and just kind of work around the limitations of optical slave. But those are kind of the big questions you're going to have to ask yourself right off the bat, as far as once you get past camera and lens, is to artificially light or to naturally light. So they each use different gear. That's kind of the question. To answer your question on what gear I have, 24mm f1.4, 85mm f1.4. I have a Sony a6300 and a Sony a6000. I have a Tascam DR40 for audio. On the last music video shoot I went and did out, I have a couple of little LED panels, plus some little tiny ones. Brought out a softbox, 2 softboxes, 2 light stands just in case for lighting, and I brought out a Steadicam vest, arm, and sled because I really love how smooth shots look with a Steadicam. I'm not as much of a fan of the Ronin gimbal stuff. I'm more of a fan of the Steadicam. Maybe I'll talk about that more later. Who knows? But yeah, and so we pretty much used a reflector on the music video shoot, the lights, LED lights, and softbox. Actually, we didn't use softbox because it broke. I had to sew it up again. The softbox is annoying. But so that's pretty much all that we used. Yeah. So not very much. I try to run really light, especially because I've yet to ever get a permit to shoot anywhere. So I want to make sure that if they say, "Hey, get the heck out of here," I can pick it all up and we can leave. So that's kind of my mindset is I want to make sure I have a small amount of gear that if I have to run away, I can run away. That'll probably change eventually. But yeah, so that's what we used on the last music video shoot. I want to show you guys something real quick. Stay right there. So I just answered a question about video stuff, and I really am enjoying doing video now. So I was going to show off some of my new gear, and just kind of this informal video, because I'm excited. This is my sled that I use for Steadicam. This is my rail system, which is fairly new. This is a newer rail system, NEEWER. A couple reasons why I got this one is that it's cheap, and things that are cheap are usually quite light. And this is quite light. And then all the more weight you have up here, you have to have more weight on the bottom, and it makes the whole thing heavier. This is a very cheap follow focus that I got here. Again, newer follow focus. It's all plastic, has some play. I'm not terribly concerned. I actually had a much more expensive one that a friend lent to me, but it was way too heavy for what I needed. So that's what I have up here. I have also this lens mount right here to support the weight of my lens when my camera's on here, because my lenses are pretty heavy, and I really do not trust the tripod bracket on the a6000 or a6300. It's just way too small. Then I have this little guy. This is, I found this online, forget who showed me this. Nice little YouTube video. This is a $40 adapter. Or altogether the system is $40 for me to be able to have this plug into my camera, and I get to run off big Sony batteries, which is awesome because I have a lot of them for my LEDs. So the wire runs down to here where I have the bracket for the actual battery. So put that in here. The wire runs down. I have a big bracket for an actual Sony battery. So you got some weights on the front, a few on the back. The rail system actually weighs this thing down on the front a lot. Same with the lens, my 24mm. And then simply down here, I attach this sucker. Boom! And I have battery power, hopefully for hours. I haven't tested it out yet, but I get to run my a6000 off of this battery with no extra weight gain because I was able to put it down there. So I'm very excited about that. The wire on the outside I'm not too excited about. Eventually I want to get a sled and vest that has a built-in power block up here that I can run the wire down to. But this is a fun new piece of gear I'm looking forward to using on the next music video shoot, which will hopefully be pretty soon. I'm almost done editing one that I shot 3 weeks ago. I'm in the revision process. I'm in the third stage of revision. It should be done very shortly. Anyways, this is Tim with Photofied and my Steadicam arm. No. Should really get that right. Anyways, this is Tim with Photofied, guys. Have a good night. Talk to you later. Bye.